Dr. Lobsang Sangay, Kalon Tripa of Tibetan Central Tibetan Administration. In fact, Dr. Lobsang Sangay is the first political head of the Tibetan people after His Holiness Dalai Lama has transferred all his power to the elected leader. And Honorable Kalon Tripa is here on official, 6-day official to Tibetan settlements in Karnataka. So before he start his tour, he would like to meet our friends in media in Bangalore. Thank you very much.
Can I do without microphone, or do you want me to do with microphone? With mic? It's better. It's laudable. It's laudable. So, I'm glad to be here in the Silicon Valley of India, Bangalore city, or Bangalore as popularly known outside. And I'm mainly here to visit some of the Tibetan settlements here in the state of Karnataka. As you all know, the largest number of Tibetan population, if you take one state into consideration, then Karnataka has the largest Tibetan population. And we are extremely grateful to the government of India and the people of India for hosting us for the last 50 plus years, and particularly to the state of Karnataka and people here. Tibetans and people of Karnataka have lived side by side amicably for many years. So I have to, and I'm here to specifically thank the state of Karnataka for hosting the largest number of Tibetans, if you take state into consideration, and also the people of Karnataka for being so friendly and supportive of the Tibetan people in general and Tibetan cause in particular. And one aspect of Tibet I want to share, which you might be interested, is the grave situation in Tibet. As you might have read, that 44 Tibetans have committed self-immolation, of which 34 have died. These are the known cases of self-immolation, and I'm sure there are cases where we don't know, so it could be much higher than what we know, but these are confirmed self-immolation and confirmed death that we know of. And then the Chinese government is trying to blame what they call Dalai clique or exiled Tibetans for instigating the protests inside Tibet in general and self-immolation cases. However, the evidence clearly points towards the Chinese government and their repressive policies, because Chinese government doesn't allow for freedom of speech in Tibet. If you protest, if you have hunger strike, if you have rallies, if you have demonstration, all these are not allowed. The chances of you, one getting arrested, tortured, even disappearing is really high if one participates simply in a demonstration. So given the lack of space for any form of freedom of speech, Tibetan seems to be unfortunately taking a tragic, rather a drastic action of self-immolation as a desperate yet a political act, which from the point of Tibetan administration, we see it as a very sad case, because as a human being, you really don't want to see anyone die the way Tibetans are dying, and hence, we have appealed repeatedly not to resort to drastic actions, including self-immolations. But Tibetans inside Tibet are protesting in the form of self-immolation, and as a people of faith, as a Buddhist, we pray for all those Tibetans who have died, like people of any faith. And as a Tibetan, we show solidarity for all those Tibetans who have protested and who have committed self-immolation, because they are doing so for Tibet and Tibetan people. So as a human being, you don't want to see self-immolation, hence we have appealed not to resort to drastic actions. And as a Buddhist, we pray for them. And as a Tibetan, we show solidarity for the protest. And self-immolation as a form of protest is not just unique in the case of Tibet and Tibetan people, but it's universal, because during the Vietnam War, there were self-immolations by Vietnamese monks. And in fact, someone who supported in America also resorted to self-immolation. And then in Czechoslovakia in 1969, one person self-immolated. And then we know there are cases of self-immolations in China as well. And recently we know during the Arab Spring, particularly in Tunisia, there were many cases of self-immolation and continues to be. So self-immolation as a political protest is in some ways universal, from Europe, Asia, Arab countries to the US, and particularly now in Tibet as well. It's unfortunate that Tibetans have to resort to such act, but it is taking place. And given a choice, no one would like to resort to such act, but Tibetans are giving up their precious lives to send a message to the international community. The situation in Tibet is grave and it's getting worse, because now the Chinese government has banned tourists from visiting Lhasa and the Tibetan areas. Not just that, Tibetans who have come from outside of Lhasa are expelled. So given the situation, there is a clampdown on Tibetan people, and this reflects how repressive the Chinese government policies are inside Tibet, and then Tibetans are resentful of the repression, hence the protest. So with that note, I will end my short remark, and happy to answer questions if you have any.
What is the stance of Tibetan government anxiety towards self-immolation? Do we support it, or?
As far as Tibetan administration is concerned, we have made not just one, but several appeals to Tibetan inside Tibet not to resort to drastic actions, including self-immolation. Because as a human being, you don't want to see anyone die like that. But as a Buddhist, as I explained, you pray for the people who die. And as a Tibetan, you show solidarity for the voices and the cries for which they died for. That is for Tibetan peoples. This is our stand. And I have made this statement in the US. I just wrote an opinion piece in the Washington Post just recently. And when I was in Japan or Australia, wherever I travel, we make our stand quite clear. The government of Karnataka and the people have been very generous and supportive. And there are some complexities or challenges as far as water, electricity, roads are concerned, and for which the State Govt of Karnataka has granted a special grant to some of the settlements, and then the state government has assured that it will be extended to other Tibetan settlements as well, and hopefully such grant will be uniform, and and will have also continuity. Will be continuity. That is our request, and then we are really grateful to the government of Karnataka, whichever party it belongs to. So we've been very supportive of the Tibet issue. So these are some of the things we have put forth, and then it's being positively considered, for which we are grateful.
The grant that is being sanctioned is for Bailakuppe, or?
Bailakuppe, Mönchod, and Kollegal and hopefully Hunsu will be considered as well, because these are the four major settlements we have. Because, for example, in the settlement of Kolega, the road inside the camp has not been upgraded for many years. So hopefully, that will be taken into consideration.
What is the nature of this grant? What is the kind of money that you're talking about?
I think details our representative office here.
But they promised to give these grants.
Yes, yes, yes. It's on the paper. I think some are actually implemented.